Imalent have been known for a while now for its groundbreaking high output flashlights. You might have seen their 100,000 lumen flashlight. I think there's one that's even higher now, 160,000 or whatever it is. But this one here, the Imalent HT70, kind of represents their entry into the headlamp market. And this light has multiple different light sources. And you can see you've got these sort of side LEDs here. So a couple of them are red LEDs. You've got these floody 4000K white LEDs. Plus you have this really powerful spot LED in the center. So it's quite versatile for different uses. And headlamps are crucial for hands-free lighting, but I found they can be a bit hit and miss, especially when it comes to sustained output. Smaller body, difficult to dissipate all that heat, and also in terms of comfort as well. You know, these headbands and just the weight of these things can definitely impact on that comfort. So in this review, we're going to be taking a deep dive and seeing what makes the HT70 stand out compared to some of its competitors, especially some of the budget competitors out there. And let's see if Imalent has actually managed to hit the marks with this model. So this is the box that you get with the HT70, and you can pause the video if you want to check out some of the specifications and things here, especially on the back. You can have a look at the lumen output and the runtime specifications as well. But it's a pretty basic sort of box. Okay, put that to the side. You do get a wide range of accessories though with this headlamp, and normally with a lot of headlamps that I've received in the past, it's been quite basic: the battery, the band, and of course the light itself. So this is the battery that Imalent include, and it's the MRB217P50S. Bit of a mouthful. 5,000 milliamp hour and 18 watt hour battery, and there is a protection circuit in there as well. Let's put that back into the light, and you of course get this nice headband. Okay, and I like how it's quite thick as well. You see some other headbands, you know, and I'll compare this a bit later, like this Sophone headband. It's a little bit thinner in terms of the width, plus, you know, you have these kind of grippy, don't know what they are, little silicone grippy areas here, which stop the light from falling down your head as well, and also kind of help shield against some sweat if you're running with this thing. And yeah, you do have a top band there as well, very nicely constructed. And this is the little carry case that Imalent include, and it's just nice that they've gone the extra step there. It even comes with this little lanyard there as well. It's not really going to fit around my wrist though, but yeah, if you're hanging it from something, that's going to be great. So you can unzip it like that and store the headlamp inside. There's also a bunch of other accessories that the light comes with. So you get a couple of these O-rings here, and you get this USB-C charging cable, which is pretty standard with most lights. You also get this here, so this pocket clip, which is fantastic. You know, basically you just undo this, pull it out from the mount, and you can clip it on like that quite easily. Imalent definitely include a lot more accessories than I usually find in a flashlight kit. And yeah, do like this added hard case, provides excellent protection for the headlamp during transport. Though personally, I don't think I'm going to use this. I'll just chuck this straight into my bag. So here's a side-by-side comparison with the HT7 and the Sophone HS21. Not a completely fair comparison, as the HS21 is an 18650 flashlight. But, you know, you can see they're not hugely different in terms of size, even weight. I mean, the HS21 feels kind of similar in weight, but it is going to be a bit lighter, about 200 grams for the Imalent HT70. But yeah, you know, one of the things that I really like about both of these headlamps is that there's a few different features here. So basically you've got, you know, a throw beam, a flood beam, and also a spot beam. And you've got this rotary switch there on the HS21, but on the HT70, it's just this simple mechanical switch there that you rotate, not rotate, but push between 3 pivot points like that. one of the big differences I see already is just the construction quality. Okay, the HT70 is just a notch above. Okay, you've got a glass lens on the front. The anodizing and the machining just looks a bit more put together, a bit smoother, and also more interesting. Not that it makes a difference, but I would say that the actual headlamp mount itself is a lot better on the HT70. Okay, you've got these two chunky rings. Okay, you just detach it like that. But the actual head strap band as well, as you can see, is a lot thicker on the Imalent. And, you know, you need to pull it a bit harder to flex it, which I think is pretty good because, yeah, I find when you've got these heavier 18650 or 21700 cell flashlights on your head and you may be running or even on a bike or something like that, just the up and down motion can sometimes be a bit uncomfortable, sort of drag the headlamp up and down. And yeah, with this one, I was wearing this outside. I didn't have any issues at all. It stays really firm on your head, especially because you've got this silicone grippy area there and just that extra surface area to grip around your head. So here's a little close-up of the Imalent HT70. Feels pretty substantial in my hands, and you know, I've got this chunky design, large rectangular bezel with all the LEDs housed inside. And yeah, it does feel chunky, but not overly heavy. I really like the build quality. I do think that it's a step above other budget headlamps that I own in terms of just the anodizing, the machining, just the overall quality of it, even the headband like I was mentioning before. And the ends of the light are quite interesting. So you've got the Type-C charging port here, and this is actually the switch as well, an E-switch right next to the port. Okay, you can't miss that. It's rubberized as well. On the other side, you've got a really strong magnet here, which allows you to stick it above somewhere if you're working on a car or, you know, just to a pole or a desk or something for hands-free use. And I did demonstrate a little bit before, but this mechanical switch that has 3 pivot points, you do need to give it a, you know, a firm sort of push. It's not going to accidentally activate unless you're intentionally moving it. The great thing about this light as well is that it's also designed to function as an EDC flashlight. So you can actually just take that clip, like I was showing you before, clip that on and put that straight into your pocket. It's like a deep carry clip. And I really like this kind of versatile, innovative touch, just to be able to switch between, you know, headlamp and the traditional EDC flashlight in a matter of seconds. Like I said before, this headband feels really comfortable, and I'm impressed that Imalent have taken the time out to actually make sure this thing feels solid on your head, because, you know, with the 21700 cell flashlight headlamp, you know, that's going to take up a bit of heft. It's 200 grams, so having that bob up and down constantly with their flimsy headband is really not going to work, but this thing holds really nice and tight, especially this headband, that second band there running across the head. And the cool thing is that you can also rotate this thing 180 degrees. So it does require a little bit of, you know, a little bit of force to move it around, but it's not going to move if you're just moving around normally, even jumping up and down. The HT70 is also IP66 dust and water resistant. It's also got a 2 meter drop resistance rating. So it's definitely designed to be tough. And you've also got a 2-year warranty on the headlamp itself. So that's, if anything kind of breaks in the headlamp, the battery only has a 1-year warranty. And after the 2 years, you have a limited warranty, so basically free repair, but Imalent will charge for parts. The light has a 21700 cell battery that's included, and USB-C onboard charging here, and I've got it charging up at the moment, and you can see that light there just flashing red kind of on and off. Once the charging's done, this is going to turn green. So a little close up under the bezel, and you can see the main LED in here is the XHP 50.3 high. That's for the spot beam right in the center. Provides excellent long range performance as well as a ton of spill. And there's also a few other LEDs in here. So you've got these primary white LEDs, couple of Cree white LEDs. I'm not really sure what they are. And there's also a couple of auxiliary red LEDs as well, which is great for preserving night vision. I love using these at night. Alrighty, so I'm going to go through the UI, show you how the light is used. Now, it's pretty simple. Essentially, you just slide this slider here on top, this mechanical slider, to one of three spots. If I go all the way to the left and turn it on, you've got these red LEDs. To the center, you've got the spot, and to the right, you've got these white LEDs. So it's pretty easy to switch in between sort of seamlessly. I found when I was out using it, I'd swap between this sort of flood and the spot beam like that. In order to change the brightness, you just have to press and hold once you're in that mode. So you got this sort of low, medium, high. Same sort of deal with the white flood LED, so low, medium, high. Okay, with the spot LED, there are a few other modes in there. So there's 5 brightness options: low, moonlight, low, medium 1, medium 2, high, and then you've got turbo, which you double press. Now, once you're in turbo for this main LED mode, if you double press, you're going to get into strobe. And there's also a way to get into this kind of flashy mode here with the red LED. So just put it in all the way to the left slide, I guess, side, and then just double press. And you can turn it on as well and double press, and it also goes into that flashy mode. There is also a lockout mode, thankfully. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can just unscrew the end of the tail cap, which will actually disconnect the battery from the light. But if you want to utilize the electronic lock, all you have to do is press the E switch here on the side 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then you can see this kind of light flashes a few times, 4 times, and signals that the light is locked out. So if you want to lock the light, all you have to do is press this E switch 3 times, okay, and then you'll see these lights flash up on the side 4 times. Triple click again, and the light unlocks. One of the things I really like with the HT70 is that it actually memorizes which mode, which kind of brightness setting you're in. So you might want to have the red mode on, say, high, and then you want to have the white mode on like low. So it memorizes those modes. Same thing goes with this sort of spot beam. You can have that on, say, maybe like a medium mode like that, and it memorizes it. When you turn it back in, turn it off, or you basically switch between modes. It does not memorize turbo though. All right, so I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests with the HT70, and you can see here on the turbo mode for the spot beam, I get just over a minute of runtime on 100% before the light steps down to about 30% of its output, a little bit less than 30% actually, where it remains for the rest of the test, and you can reactivate turbo if you want to as well. I ran a second ceiling bounce test on the high mode, and you can see here you get just over 3 minutes on that high mode before it steps down to 50%. I ran a third ceiling bounce test on the middle 2 mode, and you can see here it maintains 100% throughout the duration of the test, which is 1000 lumens. I also ran a ceiling bounce test for the red LEDs on high, and you can see here it pretty much maintains 100% for the duration of the test. And I did the same test with the white auxiliary floodlights, and pretty much the same result. So no step down at all, which is pretty expected given that those LEDs are not producing a whole lot of light at 250 lumens. I ran a bunch of tests with my Opal Lightmaster Pro, and you can see here with the white spot mode, I got 204 meters of throw, and CRI ranged from 57 to 71, and CCT was from 4800 to 6400. Those last 2 readings were a bit funny. So when the CRI was 57 in the turbo mode and CCT was 4894, I'm pretty sure that reading was incorrect. So I'll have to test it again at some other time. This happens sometimes as I'm not using a professional light meter. So I would assume that those last 2 figures there would be similar to the figures on high. And you can also see some of the specs there for the red and the white flood mode. It's not a whole lot of throw over there, but there's enough light for short to medium range. The Imalent HT70 produces a wall of light with that XHP 50.3 high, and I think that's pretty much the perfect LED for a light of this size. You know, you've got a small reflector in there. You want to maximize on throw, but you also want to have a ton of flood. These side LEDs here were also pretty floody and produce a nice smooth beam. So a few considerations if you're thinking of getting the Imalent HT70. This light weighs nearly 200 grams. So it's not exactly light, but certainly comfortable enough for a headlamp. And like I said, this wide dual band and the clamp system here on the front feels very sturdy on your head. And I'm just glad that they've put a really solid band on this thing, because if you're jogging, maybe you're running around, whatever, you're going to feel that light drag the headband down if you've got a, a smaller or sloppier sort of headband. So yeah, I also like that you get some extended run times given that you've got a 21700 cell in there. The second consideration are these flood auxiliary lights, and they're not super bright. As you know, the white LEDs at 250 lumens. I really wish that Imalent, put some floodier LEDs in there, or maybe they could have just made all 4 of these white and put a couple of red ones on the top. It's not a deal breaker, it's enough for most purposes, especially to use as a walking light. And yeah, that main LED as well produces a ton of flood, so you can just use that if all else fails. The third consideration is that the throw specs for the main LED are definitely below specification. Imalent state here it's 349 meters. I only measured 200 meters, but yeah, still excellent long range performance for a little headlamp like this. And the fourth consideration is the price, okay? It's going to be steeper than other headlamps, especially budget headlamps out there like the HS, the Sofone HS21. But, you're paying for that extra detail, attention to detail, construction quality of the light, and of course this amazing headband as well. Plus you get a bunch of these cool little accessories and a pocket clip. Overall, the Imalent HT70 headlamp is powerful and versatile. I really like that you can select between 3 different beams. It's perfect for anyone who needs hands-free lighting with excellent performance. And, compared to some of my budget headlamps, the differences are quite noticeable. Things like the premium build quality, you've got that regulated output as well for the LEDs. You've got multifunctional design as well. You can take it off, put a clip on it, and it becomes an EDC flashlight. Generous amount of accessories like the pocket clip, magnetic base, got the carry case, of course. So whether you're using it for outdoor activities, work, everyday carry, I think this headlamp delivers excellent value for its price. If you have any questions about the Imalent HT70, just let me know down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. If you like the video, do me a big favor and click the like button. It helps me to get the video out to more people and to grow my channel. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep updated with the latest news, make sure you subscribe. Imalent HT70, and I'm going to start this off on the lowest mode. Can't really see it. Just keep stepping through the different modes. Okay, 3, 4, 5. So that's the 5th step. That's high. And already you can see how far that light throws all the way down to the trees at the end. It is managing to tint those trees, but really you can get into that field maybe on that medium, that first medium mode there. This is medium 2. So medium 1 or medium 2 are just perfect for walking lights, even the low mode high. And let's go straight into turbo. And look at that. It's such a gigantic hotspot, and it blends nicely into the spill as well, and pretty much can see all into your peripherals. So, oh god, I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes out here tonight, tell you that. But yeah, I really like how you get about a minute of runtime before the turbo mode actually steps down. You can reactivate again, though it does get pretty hot. I'd recommend using it on the lower modes, medium to high, for sustained output. But look at that. The perfect beam, no artifacts at all. Okay, I've got the Imalent HT70 and I'm going to go for a bit of a walk, but firstly, before I do that, I'm just going to go through the different modes here. Okay, you can just see it sort of step up through the different That's the high mode, and then you've got turbo there. I mean, this thing just illuminates everything in front of you, even into your peripherals. Tons of light. And that's the red light as well. There are 3 modes on there. That's high, so that's really the highest it's going to go, illuminating the foreground, but not really those rocks in the distance. I'd say maximum 5 meters, 4 to 5 meters. This is the white light, similar sort of deal there. I was trying to get this to show up a bit earlier in that other beam shot, but yeah, it's only going to show up like this. So I'm going to go for a bit of a walk, and I'm going to alternate between the different beams, just so that you can get a get a handle of the different options you have. So let's go for a walk.